ati te kōrero mo te taonga, te haki, na te Paremata O IHoa. He taonga tiku i o mo tātou mo tana pāpa mo te tau nei 1928. E te Matua Tama Wairuatapu Mea. This flag holds 3 key secrets, and if you don't know those secrets, you miss the whole flag. Waste the time even reading it. So, one of those secrets is, where do you sit to even look at it? You see, that's very important. Where do you sit to even look at it?
Where do you start? Hey.
Where do you start? If you want to read a map, usually there's an introduction page. And you look up the name, and it gives you some references to a point on the actual map, and you arrive at your destination. Same with these flags. The secret of this flag is that when you look at it, you have to go to the beginning, which is the kanoi.
What?
So this flag actually starts from inside the temple, even though it's talking about ture tangata things.
Alright.
So, if you're looking at the kanoi and that's the starting point, where would you be in the temple? Where would you position yourself to get a good shot at the kanoi? You would be by the throne, or you would be looking from the back of the temple. The front, we consider it to be the front. We would be by the throne, looking towards the back wall. Well, I'm going to tell you, the back wall is in fact the front. Everything in the temple does not start from the throne, it starts from the kanoi. And it goes Matua Tama Wairuatapu. That tells you that that's the front, and it comes around to the back. Okay? So, when you're looking at this flag, you have to be sitting at the back of the temple and looking towards the kanoi above the back door. So from that perspective, we start to go from there to the Matua Tama Wairuatapu. And you notice not Anaherapono, not Anaherapono, just Anahera, which is exactly the way it is in the temple.
Alright.
It's not Anaherapono and it's not Anaherapono, it's just Anahera. So it's important to know that those are the 4 codes. And then it comes down to te Mangai. It's not the same te Mangai in the temple, is it? Each letter is an individual colour, and there is an addition of a colour. On this Mangai, you'll find the introduction of the pink. That's right. That's not in the temple. That's where it changes. So, in 1928, we know the pink Paremata was created. It was the pink point. Claim was the Ratana's personal colour. And they claim it because on the 25th of January 1928, the Japanese people came here and they sealed the last nail in the temple between the Māori race and the Japanese race, between Ratana and Jijinaga. The moment the temple was completed with the last nail, the Mangai made a statement. I'm going to reside here in the temple, but this vehicle, this man Ratana, he's going to walk out the door. That's where they admit that the pink was given to the man Ratana. Because Ratana, not Paremata O IHoa, he hasn't gone up the mountain. He's just Ratana. See, it's quite neat when these maps kind of tell you all that kind of stuff. Tells you all that kind of stuff. So we know that in 1928, the man Ratana just walked out the door. He hasn't got the new tula yet. He's just got the colour. He's still inside the temple in terms of the Mangai. And the Mangai is working because the Mangai is no longer an individual as such. But if we were just there are 3 chains that come off the Mangai, and you've got to kind of follow those tracks. They track down to something. One chain follows down to all those who signed the Mangai's covenant, 28,000. That's one of the pathways that went down. In 1928, you have another pathway, which comes down to the turning of the soil. And then there you have where it says Kawuria hau I te whenua ki a tairā, ki te onuri. In other words, you know, Willie became the one who would turn up the soil, the black soil, till he reaches the ring. That's why it's in ring. But then it goes along here and it states that the quarter, on the 1st of the 12th, 1931, only secured 7,000 votes to Tautoko, the kaupapa of generals. And of the world, and watching all the activities on the world. We are in charge of every single thing that is moving out there. Nothing that moves out there happens because we don't do anything. Whatever we do here, if we sit down and do nothing, there is a response for us doing nothing. If we get up and we do something, there is a response in the world to us getting up and doing something. So, the world is in a lot of trouble, which tells me that we've been sitting down doing nothing for quite a while. But that is soon to end. From Kaparere, you get 4 chains that come down. The karere, which is the, every single one of these dates is important. It goes back to a historical event that happened here in Ratana. You get a messenger who came from Wellington on the 15th of the 6th, 1929 to tell the dad, you need to go down to Savage for a meeting. That's a karere was sent from Portugal. You get this one here where it comes down to the 7/7/1929. 2 buildings, Te Aroha and Rangi. Now, you mightn't realise it, but Te Aroha was the old administrative block. The Rangi used to be where they keep all the stuff that's now in the whare. They took it out of whare marama. It used to be in the women whare marama. Took it out of that and they put it in the Rangi. So that all the demons would be at peace with it.
Yeah, for sure.
So during that period of time, these 2 houses were operating. The House of Love and the House of Peace were operating on the face of the earth during the time of Piriwiri. Then you come back to these nice little bits here, TW Ratana, and you notice it's a red one. It comes down to the TW Ratana. Over here it says, on the 25th of the 1st, 1932, there is a commemoration to a family, or to Tautoko Kereama Pene, who was born for the 3rd time. Interesting. 3 changes. Born again 3 times. You find over there that the Mangai, see, ko hoki a Piriwiri tua ki te Mangai. The white Piriwiri tua, not the pink one. The white Piriwiri tua has gone back to the Mangai. What date? On the 8th of the 11th, 1931. The white Piriwiri tua has now taken on the mantle of Mangai once again. And that's the new birth, born again as Piriwiri tua, born again as the Mangai on that date. The Parliament of IHoa was established here at Ratana on the 4th of the 12th, 1928. She's right down to months, days. We can actually state using these kind of maps the exact day it was done.
Sure.
And if we go to our 50s, we can give you the exact hour of the day it was done. So we know that the Parliament of Jehovah was established here at Ratana on the 4th of the 12th, 1928, the exact day. What is interesting is there are these 2 chains that come past the Mangai and they come directly from heaven. 2 chains. One chain is the Punawai water. The waters, the living waters of life which flow from out of our kingdom. The other one, of course, is this one here that comes down to Piriwiri tua, comes straight from the top, and the Wairuatapu said to Piriwiri tua at the waterfall. That's really what that is. All they know is the red is the waterfall speaking to the Piriwiri tua and the Apotoro Kereama saying to him, these are your instructions, chap. I gave instructions to the Mangai when he came here, now I'm going to give instructions to Piriwiri tua. Here are your instructions. So, the part that the World Tour plays in this map is that the kings of the world through the British Crown derived from the house of Israel, or the house of David. And the scepter of the king shall not be removed from that house. So inside that house, all the Jews didn't want to listen to prophets anymore. So they all cried to God and they said, we want a king that we can see and we can touch. So the prophet approved of the first king Saul, right down for Solomon, David, right down to Queen Elizabeth to this very day. Even down to Charles and down to young William, they are actually direct bloodline back to the kings of Israel. We are direct bloodlines back to the prophets of Israel. And so this map is telling the relationship between the white Piriwiri tua and the pink Piriwiri tua, between the prophetic line and the physical line. You've got to remember that Ratana was both Mangai and Piriwiri tua. But the Piriwiri tua was to give. We have this one promise down the bottom, and most Ratanas hate it, because what it really says is that each of us must bear our own cross of responsibility.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't blame it on your cousin down the road. You can't say it was that our Apotoro's fault. Each one of us must bear the burden. of the mistakes, if you want to call them, or the omissions of our forefathers. The beauty about us and them is that they couldn't read these maps even if the dad showed them. If you want to go through acknowledging that God is the supreme governor. And we do have a map for you. And this map is based on love, it's based on peace. It's not led by Ratana anymore because he's gone. He's left this work to his followers. And his followers now can read the signs. First the treaty will be tampered with. Then the mother of the people will be affected. Then the outsiders will start talking about our treaty more than the insiders. Then your foreshore shall be taken away from you. And then, what does it say? Then the four corners shall come back to be one. Today is the Maramatanga. And the four parts are now here in this part. And we actually have Treaty Tour right here in the part today. The four brass bands are here. We have the Mangai right here today. The other three bands are to do with other things. The Tautoko is a major issue that's not even body. This map is about Whakarongomai O IHoa and about how those members of parliament along the top get the angels. And so this flag helps us to understand that one, we had it, two, we lost it, and three, we can actually claim it back if we want to. How did we lose it? These numbers didn't quite add up. 38,000 signed, only 7,000 finally supported. We broke covenants. We're covenant breakers. You know, it's quite a damning thing to be called a covenant breaker, but we are. We are covenant breakers. How do we fix up covenants? Well, you fix up what you broke. So, we have broken, for instance, we have broken scriptural teachings from the Bible, and we've broken physical teachings in terms of denying the Treaty of Waitangi. But that stuff is all good, because it was meant to happen, because this had to happen. This is kind of like a prophecy in 1932. The guy's tired now, he's been talking to them, they won't listen, they won't support him. He's very tired, his body is getting worn out, and he makes statements. He says that you're going to go hungry, there's going to be pestilence, famine, and the government is not going to like you. Going to make bad laws that will affect you. Now he said that back in 1932. And in 1932, you understand what happened in 32? He left all the works of Piriwiri to absolutely. He was just sick of the people, letting them go. So when you see 32, you've got to associate it to the whole map. He left that work and returned back to just being T.W. Ratana in 1932. But our people, unfortunately, our people still saw Ratana as the Mangai, they still saw him as Piriwiri. They did not realize what happened on the 25th of the 1st, 1932. They didn't realize what happened. And neither do they look at the maps. These things are just nothing more than patterns on a piece of paper. But we have this one promise down the bottom. And most Ratanans hate it. Because what it really says is that each of us must bear our own cross. And the Morehu will be distinguished from one another. There are those who want to play around with this whakarongomai, and there are those who want to work with this whakarongomai. And they don't care what religion, race, colour, tribe, or nation. And then he establishes the Mano at 38. So, what is the last chance? They didn't even listen even when the last chance came. So then he said, this is my last party gift. He actually knew he was dead in 38, before 18th of September 1939. He knew he was already gone, a whole year earlier. Because why would a man say, this is my party gift, if he didn't know he was going to go somewhere? So, when you see this flag, there are some things in this flag that we've been talking with Piri and with Haahi. We haven't quite got to Anaherapono yet because their parts are later. But boy, if they started to learn about the blueprints, this blueprint goes with one other flag. This blueprint actually goes with another flag, and it's the Earl's flag.
Why?
So, when this started, he went around, see, you know when the Earl started? Look at the dates. It's really neat. You start seeing the first day when the girls came into being, when the Morehu came up. And when he had come back, and then all of a sudden you see 32, the girls starts blossoming. 32, 34, 35, all four are established. Opening of the archeries, the last one was Haahi. And the archery was opened in 35. So from 32 to 35, 4 brass bands were up and running. Why? Because he knew that we would be assaulted by the devil. And he needed roving armies to protect his Morehu, to give them a chance to get on his koha winter, his ark. So he had his roving armies out there to clear the way so that his poor old stubborn Morehu, who wouldn't listen to him, would have a chance to get back on the boat before Ratana struck. We made it, we're here today, and what you have to realise today is you have 7 bands. So, nā rei the whānau, Paremata O whakarongomai Pene haki, just to say, these nice little chats. Haahi's got material, backup information, references that support present day events to do with what's happening at Anaherapono, what's happening amongst the Haahi, irrespective of what political relationship we have with people. Everything that is happening is on this map. And every response to it is on this map. So nā reira, aeanei koe ni te wā, Mano Tautoko Mea, Iwi Morehu, te Haahi hoa, te Iwi Tautoko Mea, Rawhiti te Puro te wā, te Iwi Marehu, Tama Wairuatapu Mea, te Aeanei, nice one. Titiro,